The Sony Bravia 8 Mark II is the most hated TV on the internet. It's the Travis Kelce of TVs, the Rachel Ziegler of TVs, the Blighttown of TVs. If you know, you know. But is it really as bad as those things? It can't be that bad. I don't know. It's behind me, so I don't really want to talk bad about it. But actually, this is the first time I've loaded up this TV. There won't be any deep analysis in this video, but there's definitely some pretty cool footage, and also my first impressions of the picture quality and what I think of the TV so far. And I did briefly check it out next to the S95F, so maybe I'll have a little bit of an insight on that as well. Now, before I get into this TV, full transparency, Sony did send me this TV to check out. And also, this is not a formal review. This is just going to be first impressions. I will get to a review and comparisons a little bit later down the line as I look at the TV a little bit more. Now, I want to be clear, this is going to be a pretty casual video in terms of my analysis, but maybe I'll do a little bit here and there as we are going to look at some things. But it's not going to be a deep dive, so don't expect anything too crazy. It's also not going to be very structured. It's going to be kind of all over the place because it's my first impressions, and I think a good way to do his first impressions is to do them live and to bunch them up together. Honestly, that is probably the best way to do it. When this TV was first revealed, man, the reaction to it was kind of wild. I never seen such negative reaction just off the bat when a TV was announced. And the reason was actually pretty justified, to be honest with you, because a lot of people were excited for a new Sony QD OLED. They really were. But the fact that they didn't have a 77-inch size, people did not like that. So really, this is only available in 55 and 65 inches. So it's a niche kind of TV if you think about it. A lot of people are going with these bigger TVs. But if you need a 55 or 65-inch TV, then you do have this option, which is one reason why I don't quite understand the hate for the people that are buying in that size. Because the Samsung S95F is such an awesome TV, why doesn't Samsung just do a glossy version of the S95F? So if you just want a glossy version of the S95F, dude, just buy the Bravia 8 Mark II. They're going to trade blows, and of course the Bravia 8 Mark II is going to fall short in some of the gaming aspects, especially if you're looking for PC gaming. Another reason some people hate this TV is because of the price tag. And I just want to say, like, if that's you, that's understandable because the price is sometimes astronomical on some of these TVs, and this was the case with the Bravia 8 Mark II when it first came out. But since it has lowered its price, and currently at the time of filming, it's actually cheaper than the S95F and the LG G5. So to get a Sony flagship OLED TV to be cheaper than their competitors this close to launch, that's actually kind of nuts. I've never seen that happen. So when it comes down to hating this TV, what else do people not like about this TV? I think there's the obvious things that you can knock against Sony, like no 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, only 2. While I don't think that's that big of a deal because not many people are going to utilize 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, I do think that eventually Sony's going to have to get 4 just to say they have 4. At this point, that's really all it is, right? Just to have 4, to say you have 4, just so you could shut us up, just so we could stop talking about it, right? And I always wondered, like, is that how the Sony board meetings go? Like when somebody brings up HDMI 2.1 on all 4 slots, it's like, Jim, do people use all 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, or do we really need to do this year? To be honest, Bob, I think we'd be doing this just to shut everybody up. I wonder if that's how the conversations would be, right? Like, I don't know. Terrible, right? But yeah, other than those things that we covered already, where is the hate for this TV? I got the price tag thing. That's not really a discussion point anymore because it's actually cheaper than the 2 flagships. I guess a lot of the hate could come from some of the impressions that this TV is not as good as the A95L, which, by the way, I have no idea how you can come to that conclusion after seeing this TV. Also, the Bravia 8 Mark II is very bright. It's kind of insane at how good the color brightness is on this TV. And with the color brightness issue that the S95F has, I think we're going to see a lot of instances where the Sony Bravia 8 Mark II is actually the best color brightness TV on the market because it's the only QD OLED other than the S95F. So if the S95F can't get the full color luminance, well, then you're going to see a difference in some HDR content. Right after I filmed the intro, I just wanted to see what it looked like in movies so I could give you my first impressions on that. I can't show you movies, unfortunately, because copyright, but you know, we'll try to get some stills in on the full review and on side-by-side comparisons and stuff. But this TV looks incredible with movies. And the reason why I want to show you this demo is mainly because I like the shadow detail on this TV so far. I think that they did a really good job with the shadow detail, and it is some of the best shadow detail that I've seen out of the box in a very long time on a TV. Jennifer Gala just put out a new demo. You'll kind of be amazed by some of the color brightness that you get out of this demo. This is really high brightness HDR content right here. Definitely check out her channel. I've never seen anything quite like this in terms of color brightness. So this is a demo I'm definitely going to put to test on the S95F next to the Bravia 8. And I didn't even see it yet, by the way, on the S95F, because I don't want to spoil it. The question I'm getting a lot is, should you be buying the Bravia 8 Mark II, or should you just go buy an A95L? I'll say this, if you are looking for these two and they're very similar in price, get the Bravia 8 Mark II. This is definitely better than the A95L. When it comes down to, like, if you have a good value on the A95L, it really depends on how cheap you can get the A95L. One thing you'll have to know about this TV is that the stand location is really just going to be on the end of the TV, and there is no central stand position. So you're going to have to keep that in mind if you're going to put it on a table or a console. You got to make sure that your table is going to be long enough to fit this TV. Do some measurements, because otherwise you'll be met with a little bit of a surprise. I don't know if you can see it in this video, but I did have to put 2 desks together to fit this. So that's something that you kind of run into. Thankfully, I have 2 standing desks that are adjustable, so I was able to get the height just right, so there's not any issue at all. I'm going to have a separate gaming video for you with this TV in mind, so you'll see that a little bit later. So I'm only going to briefly talk about gaming. But I've only really played one game on this so far, and that's Expedition 33. Because I love that game, and also what better way to try gaming and bring cinema home at the very same time, because that's what Expedition 33 is. It's absolute cinema. And if you haven't played it yet, do yourself a favor and play that game. Reality creation being on in game mode is definitely noticeable. It is something that no other TV has, and it is something that I do think gives an edge in the picture quality department over the other TVs. Now, when I was briefly comparing the S95F to the Bravia 8 Mark II, there is one thing I noticed sometimes with the tone mapping is they may not look as impactful as, say, another TV, depending on how the TV is going to be doing its HDR tone mapping. What I am seeing on the S95F is that it is brighter in this particular scene. So this will be one of the situations where they trade blows. And hold on, let me actually just turn the camera so you can see it, okay? So you won't see it completely because it's going to be cutting off some of the screen, but you can see the part that I want you to see here. And what you'll notice is that, yeah, the S95F does make this scene look a little bit brighter. Yes, looking at them side by side, I'm not seeing a ton of difference in terms of the color brightness. And this is a very good demo for color brightness. In HDR, it's kind of like that back and forth battle. And it'll be interesting to put these two side by side in a full comparison, because it's gonna be really fun. And I can't wait to do that. I'm gonna do that with the G5 and the Z95B as well. So definitely subscribe to the channel if you're not yet, so you don't miss that. I do have the link for this TV in the description if you're interested in buying this TV. It helps support the channel, so thank you guys so much for that. I know I missed a lot because this wasn't a full analysis. This wasn't a deep dive. But if you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. I will answer pretty much all of them because I like answering questions and I like having discussions with you guys. It's a lot of fun. And I do want to say thank you to everybody. You guys have been great this year, last year, the last couple of years, man. You are always on my side, and I appreciate that so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one.